Steve, the Affordable Life Coach. Email is in the description. Consultation's free and have been coaching for going on 13 years now. And I see some common patterns, and some of you, we all will be able to identify with some of these things that we're going to talk about in this video. People that when you feel a sense of malaise, you feel like life sucks, you feel stressed, anxious, you feel burned out, you feel life is a grind, life is meaningless, you don't feel valuable, purposeful, you feel socially isolated, not connected with people, just that general flatness in that, like, life just doesn't have that spark that you'd like it to have. And there's some common patterns or themes that I see in clients, and even in myself when I go through periods where I have some of those feelings as well. And the biggest theme I see that's very common is just being passive and not being proactive, taking action, waking up, having a plan for the day, having an overarching purpose for your life. It's just like passive, and wherever life takes me, I'll go. And usually it is whatever falls into your lap. So that's why I see1clients that are in unfulfilling relationships or are alone and can't find a partner, or their career is stagnant, or they're unhappy about the amount of money they're making, or they're unhappy with the job that they currently have. And the common theme is almost like an addiction to distractions, an addiction to avoidance, an addiction to comfort, an addiction to short-term pleasures, an addiction to safety, an addiction, to pleasure, if I didn't say that already. It's just, they create a little bubble around themselves. And again, I have fallen into this as well, and it's something I have to be vigilant about. But it's just like, I don't have the energy, I don't have the time, I don't want to put the effort into it, or it's too scary, it's too frightening, it's too fearful. And then we just feel like life sucks without realizing, hey, we are the problem and we are the solution. And especially if you consume a lot of the just pure garbage that's on TV, garbage that's on the internet, the gossip, the social media drama, the doom and gloom drama of TV and the internet. It's just like, you just want to be like an ostrich and bury your head in the sand and just escape from it all. And even the negativity can become addicting, because it's easier to focus on the negative things that are happening in the world or with other people than to look at yourself in the mirror and going, I need to clean my life up. I am not happy with my life. I'm not happy with the way I'm living. I'm not happy with the things that I'm accomplishing. I'm gotten slothful or lazy, and I'm just kind of floating through life. And it never feels fulfilling to do that. It's just just living like an socially accepted, an addict that has socially acceptable addictions. The being on the cell phone all the time, staring at screens, being sedentary. Realize life is not going to seem engaging, adventurous, purposeful if we're passive and sedentary. And it's probably about 60-70% I've read of what we do in a given day is just so automated. We have the same fears, and we shirk when things scare us. We just kind of cower. We do the same routines. We go on our phones X amount of times a day. We gossip at work or gossip, around other people. We watch the same type of garbage on our screens. And eat the same type of junk food or unhealthy foods, the lack of exercise, the lack of movement, the lack of stimulating our mind with new experiences, new hobbies, new people. It's just a flat, boring, dull existence. And that's why coaching is so effective, because it helps. One of the tools coaching can be so effective because it helps shake up our snow globe. It helps us discover things about ourselves that we're not willing to look at. And it's just, in the short run, it's always easier just to continue doing what you've already done. And because change takes effort, to live a courageous life is scary. To engage with people that you don't know or that you might be fearful of, it takes boldness. And there's just so much passivity. And when I listen to or overhear conversations, or when I listen to I'm in a group, a bigger group of people, and listen to the topics people talk about, it's like we've consciously chosen to dumb ourselves down. We don't read books anymore. We don't spend time alone in solitude, unstimulated, just with our thoughts. We don't allow ourselves to get bored or allow ourselves to get uncomfortable. We're constantly either listening to something, watching something, or just engaging in stuff that I would call junk food. Now, not everybody, and I'm not saying that we do this even the whole day, but just think about how many hours a day we spend in just low quality, low reward addictions. And that's what there really are, is just addictions. And it just squeezes the spiritual joy and life out of us, because we're just being passive. We just do what is convenient, what is easy, it takes little effort just to pick up the phone or go on the screen or turn on the TV. And life just becomes drab and dull. And then we wonder why we're so unhappy, or we say, hey, give me a pill to make myself feel better. Instead of asking ourselves, what about my value system? What about my mindset? What about my lifestyle is contributing to my just flat, the doldrums? And it doesn't take huge, risky, costly, overly courageous, overly fearful actions. It's the little actions that we do on a daily basis that have a cumulative effect. And that's what we do when I'm working with clients, is we start with just small stuff. And we have an inner sensor. We have this part of our brain that just wants to keep us safe. And it thinks it's doing a good job by avoiding situations that make us uncomfortable. And yesterday, there was somebody that I didn't know, and I'm like, I want to ask them a question. I wanted to learn something from them that I saw them doing. I found it was very interesting. And the sensor goes, oh no, they're busy. You'll be bothering them. Let them be. Actually doing like a workout routine that I've been a workout that I wanted to learn. And so then I go, I'm just going to ignore that. And I'm going to go over and talk to the person. And it was like, they were warm, they were friendly, and I learned something. And it just got out of my comfort zone, and it wasn't a big deal. But like little things like that, like talking to strangers, going to different restaurants or trying different types of food, reading books instead of picking up your phone, going on short weekend camping trips, for example, going to a new, going to a church, going to a meditation group, going to something that is outside of what you usually do. we're just so close-minded and we want to do what we've already done. And that is not how we evolve and grow. And that's why I love adventurous type of traveling, because it gets you out of that little bubble. And just the passive life in the short run, it seems, I wouldn't even call it stimulating, more numbing out, but it just leaves a big vacuous spiritual hole. And that's the most important thing, is like we spend so much time and effort on worldly things, getting caught up in worldly drama, getting caught up on worldly values of the materialistic lifestyle, and just everything is, it's like a web that just traps us. And it also becomes like a treadmill. It just becomes a grind of dealing with all the things of the world. And that's why I love just simplifying your life to the maximum degree that you can, so we can free ourselves up to focus on spiritual pursuits, focus on working on our spirituality, spending time on nature, praying, spending time alone, and seeing what comes up for us. There's a show that I like. It's called Alone, where they spend time out in nature and they're just by themselves. And it's one of the most challenging things we can do, especially in modern society, because we don't spend time alone, unstimulated. And one of the participants says, like, you really have to face who you are when you are alone and you don't have your phone or your whatever, your somebody else to talk to, making superficial conversations or whatever distraction it is. You've got to really face yourself. And I think that's just it's so missing in our society. When we numb out, we don't course correct. We don't realize where our lives are off track. We don't self-reflect. We don't tap into our intuition. We're just numbing out, and part of the numbing out creates this vicious cycle where we get stuck in a rut. We get on a path that's going nowhere. It's a dead end. And that's why, like, that alone time, even if you can't get out into nature, sitting on a park bench or just sitting in a room and staring at a wall and listening to our intuition. Your intuition or your wise mind is not going to tell you to pick up your phone and spend hours watching TikTok or spending hours on end watching YouTube videos. I'm not saying there's valuable stuff out there, and I do like watching those things. They have a purpose, but that's not. It's got to be combined with action, and that's what I really focus on with my coaching clients is, don't get lulled into thinking you're making progress by reading books, by watching videos, by just setting goals. A life of action is enriching, it's fulfilling, it makes you feel engaged with yourself and engaged with the world. And we can't get that when we're always distracted and numbed out, and the monkey mind will always justify, oh, well, you need this, you had a hard day at work. Now, if you had a hard day at work, sit. Sometimes I would just even sit, when I had a car, I used to sit in my car and I would just sit at a park, even if it was cold, or sit somewhere, along the beach, and just like unwind and allow stuff to bubble to the surface, allow your spirit to speak to you. And when people feel like life sucks, they're disconnected from their spiritual self. I guarantee you they're passive, they're using escapism, and they're spending a lot of time sedentary, not engaging with people, not challenging themselves with difficult things. And we can make a million excuses why we can't do that. Oh, I don't have time, or it costs too much money. That's BS. Be creative and find solutions, because this is just like, we get one shot here. And I just look at, man, I'm not going to wish I spent more time on passive pursuits. There are so many more, there's so much more rewarding things in life that will make you feel alive and spark that flame. And then it has a ripple effect. You become a better boyfriend, girlfriend, you become more energetic, you become more passionate, your career takes a different trajectory. You wake up and you look forward to the day. You try new things. You open your mind. And that's what life's about. And like when we're surrounded by people that just do things that create emotional pain or just numb out their emotional pain. The emotional pain is there for a reason. It's to be dealt with. It's a call to action. It's to help us to grow. It's help us to evolve and help us to become a slightly better version of ourselves. And you just can't get that with being passive. So like go out and walk. Go out and try new hobbies. Go out and fly a kite. Go out and read a book somewhere. Paint. Go out and play some music. Write a book. Write in your journal. Go to the gym. Exercise. Go camping. Sit by a campfire. Go for a long hike. Learn how to eat edible plants or mushrooms. Just something. That's just a small example. Learn how to play the violin or a yo-yo or juggle. There's so many things that we could be doing. Ride a bicycle. And it just, it takes a little effort. You're always going to have resistance towards it in the beginning, but once you get out and do it, you just feel so much better about yourself and about life, and it builds confidence. And then you don't find yourself being fearful or having social anxiety. When you do courageous things, your confidence builds. It doesn't come through reading a book. It doesn't come with saying an affirmation. It doesn't. Those things are helpful, but they're only to lead you to action. Only if they lead you to action. There's no shortcuts to finding a purposeful, meaningful life. Doing some deep spiritual soul searching. There's no shortcuts. And I think that's what we're all looking for this day and age, is a shortcut. And it just doesn't work. It doesn't leave us fulfilled. And that's why I love spiritual pursuits and just kind of disengaging as much with all the things, the snares of worldliness. And we're all addicted to one degree or another to worldliness. So if you'd like help on this journey, support, encouragement, gentle accountability, send me an email. It's in the description. Like I said, life coaching is extremely affordable and there's no obligation, and it's just week by week. What else can I say? Please, I'd like to, whatever you want to comment on this, what's your reaction to this video? What's your reaction? Have you been able to escape that the addictive nature of being passive and sedentary and kind of just going through the rut of life? Your comments mean a lot to me, so thank you for all those who have commented. And if you like more videos like this, please subscribe and like, and consider supporting the channel. Even $1 a month or even one-time donation really means a lot. It's just kind of like that moral support that you find these videos valuable. All right, look forward to the next video. And now, close your computer, go outside, and experience the world. It really is a magical place when you try new things and you get out of your comfort zone. Bye-bye.